Hey guys, it's Nick, and today I'm going to have a special type of video for you guys today. It's going to be a different type. As you know, I collect hockey jerseys. Mainly Chicago Blackhawks jerseys. So I have a lot of jerseys from a lot of eras of Chicago Blackhawk hockey. From the oldest jersey in my collection will probably have to be from the early to mid 90s and then on up. But jerseys that were made before I was even born. Exactly. But I want to do a different type of video by showing you the differences of jerseys that were made for the Blackhawks and the rest of the NHL from different manufacturers. Today we have Adidas. 2 years, we do not know who will be making the new jerseys for the NHL, as Adidas is stepping away from the NHL to making jerseys. So there's also that burning question. What manufacturer is my favorite of hockey jerseys? And one thing with this I should mention, some of these companies ended up being bought out by the companies that made make the NHL jerseys, such as Adidas. They bought out Reebok. Reebok bought out CCM. CCM's now their own separate company again, which is nice to see. But Adidas owned Reebok, and they basically took over the contract that way. That's how sometimes the contracts went throughout the NHL, it seemed like. So I want to show you the differences, the comparisons of hockey jerseys. I will mention this, there will not be a Fanatics jersey in this video. I do have one. I made a video early on in my channel. It's actually my most popular video on the channel, comparing Reebok versus Fanatics versus Adidas jerseys. So if you want to watch that, I will have the link down below. But I want to do a video where I'm comparing from CCM, Nike, Pro Player, a company that doesn't exist, Koho, Reebok, and Adidas, just showing the differences and evolution of the hockey jersey from the 90s on up to today. So sit back, relax, and let's get into this video. So we're on to the 90s, the early 90s, and this is the time when CCM created hockey jerseys. This Eddie Belfour Blackhawk jersey is a CCM mascot jersey, and if you look at even the quality in the logo, it's stitched. The logos on the shoulders are stitched down. Two-layer tackle 12 nameplate with numbers. But the thing with these, if you look at the bottom, the CCM tag label was just screen printed and put on the jersey themselves. So on the On Ice Authentic version, this is a Tony Amonte jersey for the Hawks. Of course, the Hawks are the only team to have chain stitching on their jerseys, so there's some chain stitching there, with some twill as the face of the Indian head. CCM On Ice tag, and this jersey had the CCM and NHL orange shield basically embroidered into the bottom of the jersey. These jerseys are older, yes, but it's just showing you could still see good quality in how the jersey was made back in the 90s. These jerseys were made in Canada at this time from the replicas and the on-ice jersey. So let's go into the next jersey of the era of the Hawks jerseys. So we're still into the mid 90s to basically up to 99. Well, not 99, but 98 season. It was the era of Nike for the Chicago Blackhawks. Yes, why am I saying for the Chicago Blackhawks? There were 7 teams in the NHL at the time that had Nike making their on-ice jerseys and replica jerseys. And for the Hawks, they used Nike. Some of the other teams used Starter. This is my Nike on-ice authentic Chris Chelios. It still looks kind of like the old CCM jersey of the early 90s up to this Chelly jersey. Chain stitched tomahawks, tackle 12 numbers and letters, still with the orange NHL shield embroidered and the Nike swoosh on the bottom. That's how the Nike on ice jersey is. Again, still made in Canada. Has the old NHL players tag put on here because I guess at the time when this jersey was made, it was part of the. It was made with the name and number on it. So let's get into the replica version of the Nike jerseys. Yes, this is my black Bob Probert Nike on ice jersey. This still made in Canada. You still get the embroidered tomahawks. It's not chain stitched. Of course, that's the same how the Indian head is. It's not chain stitched as well. But something interesting to see with these replicas, they had the same kind of air knit material that you got with the CCM, that you got with the Nike on ice jersey. Then, one interesting thing is with these Nikes, they put the jock tag on the bottom where the Nike and NHL shield were on the front of the jerseys, on the back of the jersey, my bad. And then they put the Nike swoosh on the sleeve in a contrasting color. That's how they went with the Nike replica versus on ice authentic. So the next company I'm showing that made the jersey, this is the first time the NHL had a single license for the NHL. And that was with Pro Player to make the hockey jerseys. You had the NHL 2000 patch on the jerseys because when Pro Player made it, it was 99 to 2000. That was it. After that, they weren't a company ever again. So Pro Player made a jersey. And you can see now it's the current Blackhawks logo on the front of the jersey. The other ones had the tan. Pro Player, on the other hand, I do not have a replica version of the jersey, but some people don't like it. Some people do like the Pro Player replicas. But still, the On Ice Authentics are honestly one of the best quality jerseys ever. This is a Boris Mirnov jersey, yeah. Someone that's wearing number 2 that's not Duncan Keith, that's interesting to see. But this is the era where we see a change with the NHL. Their NHL Shield. The NHL Shield becomes the current day silver on it, but still going the opposite way. Pro Player's logo being down on the bottom as well. Still no logo up here to say what company makes the jersey. It's the same thing, double layer tackle twill, good twill with the name, and they basically used almost a similar material to what we'll see in the next era. This is pretty much an air knit jersey, and it's a high quality make. It's still chain stitched for the Hawks. Again, Hawks only team to use it. Pro Player tagging up there. Good quality jersey, and frankly, I really liked how Pro Player did these. If I had the replica, I would show you the differences between the replica and the on ice authentic. Okay, here's a weird situation here. I don't have the other version of this. At this time, after Pro Player made the Hawks, like made every NHL jersey, they lost the contract because they were no longer a company after 1 year of making the NHL jerseys. So the company that took over was CCM Koho. Yes, CCM and Koho took over the contract. Koho made the dark color jerseys, CCM made the white jerseys. So I don't have an on-ice authentic of the CCM variant, but I do have the on-ice authentic of the Koho. And I do have a white CCM for the CCM variant for a replica. I also had a Koho replica, but they're exactly the same jersey because they're the same company at this time. So Koho was making the jerseys, and CCM was making the white. So let's just get into the white replica. Again, not a chain stitch logo yet, because that's not how they do replicas until we see Adidas take over. This is my Eric Daze CCM white jersey, and one nice thing still making made in Canada jerseys. They do switch to made in Indonesia for some jerseys. You could still get the made in Canadas at time. So, made in Canada still. So good tagging, and I think this is when you see the introduction of the replica jerseys having the NHL puck logo. And it's still in the orange. Double layered twill with the nameplate being in AirNet. And this is the first year you see the manufacturer logo on the top of the back of the jersey, on the shoulders. And on the replica, you still get the manufacturer on the sleeve. So that is the replica variant. That's a similar way of a Koho jersey for the replica. But Koho Authentic and CCM Authentics were called the 6100s, and you see this chain stitch logo, made in Canada, and good quality make. Still with the AirKnit that you see with CCM, Nike, the Pro Player, good quality company. You also, I should mention, Reebok did use the 6100 jerseys for 2 years. So you get the chain stitch shoulders. My Eric Daze Koho Authentic, NHL Shield on the bottom still. It's all hand done and great quality, made in Canada jersey. You can't go wrong with a Koho Authentic or a CCM Authentic, I would have to say. It's basically the same kind of jersey as a Pro Player, but it's a lot better quality. So in 2007, 2008, we get the start of the Reebok Edge template. Reebok did have the jersey rights to make in the 2006 to 2007 seasons, but they were using the CCM and Koho jerseys, but they were waiting to release their own template. And this is when we get the introduction of the Reebok Edge template. This is a Reebok Edge 1.0. We'll see the differences in the next generation of Reebok jersey. This is a Reebok Premier from year 1. And this is a Reebok Premier 2009 Winter Classic. I'm going to mention differences between these. It's interesting. Not a lot of people know this with the Winter Classic from 09 and the difference in the replica on these. So let's get started with the Premier jersey. They were all the same from 07 on up to 2017, the final year of Reebok. It's basically non-tackled, non-embroidered, like non-chain stitch logo for the Hawks. The introduction of the jock tag on front, still with the manufacturer logo on the sleeve. The first time we don't see embroidered shoulder patches on the jersey. You do get, with most of them, you don't get double layered. You get like a single layer if you bought it from NHL. I got most of mine customized, so they all have double layer numbers. So I have to mention that. But the Reebok logo up there, and we see the movement of the NHL shield up here on the collar. Best collar design, in my opinion, was Reebok. So this is a replica jersey from Reebok. This is the Reebok Edge 1.0. Why am I starting with the 1.0? Well, it's made in Canada. It's an on-ice authentic. And with the shoulders, it's a big difference. You get a lot more of a stretchy material. If you see that, that's a lot more stretch in the jersey. You don't get that with the air knit jerseys from CCM, Koho, Nike, Pro Player. You didn't get that. You don't get that with these. These also had waterproofing with the jersey. Good quality jersey. Players just didn't care for how much it absorbed the water into the gloves, beating down into, like sweat beating down the jersey into their gloves. That's why they changed it up a bit after. So this is a Reebok Edge 1.0. Tackle twill, sublimated striping on the jersey, which is something some companies don't mention. That's how all jerseys are. We're all sublimated striping, but we'll get into the next company soon. So sublimation there with the expandex material. And 09 Winter Classic, the second year Winter Classic in the NHL. It's a premier jersey, this one is. So it's supposed to be like the last premier, like the first premier jersey of Jonathan Toews' rookie jersey. No, they use CCM materials on these. It may have the Reebok tag up here, but if you look here, it says made in Canada. The main Reebok premieres were made in Indonesia. So that was a difference. That was the second time you see made in Indonesia on some jerseys. Embroidered NHL shield, like, not NHL shield, embroidered Reebok patch up there. Triple layered numbers. That's something you did not see with a lot of the replicas. They were all vinyl. This is triple layered. And you did get heat pressing on the logos up here and here, but that's about it. I got these all stitched down. But that's a key. These were made in Canada. The other premieres were not. We're still with Reebok here, and I'm going to show you the differences between a Reebok Edge 2.0 and a Reebok Indo-Edge. What's an Indo-Edge, you may ask? Well, it's a authentic jersey with the chain stitching on it, and it has the fight strap. They call these the authentics, but they weren't. These were called the Indo-Edges. This is something you see with the Indo-Edges. This green, neon green tagging up here, made in Indonesia. It states right here. And these were good quality jerseys, but this is basically what you get with Adidas. So it's an Indo-Edge. This is the Indo-Edge. And the highest quality of Reebok jersey you could possibly get is a Reebok Edge 2.0. So it's an RBK Edge 2.0. It's made in Canada, Reebok tag right there. The thickness of the twill and embroidery, you could see a quality difference because here's the Indo-Edge. It's a little bit more flimsy, and you can bend it up enough. The 2.0, you really can't do that with it. You can try, but it really is not made to do it. It's what the players wore on ice. Embroidered tomahawks up top, and Reebok wordmark tagging right there. Double layered, and the numbers do stitch onto the reinforced fight strap. That's something you don't get with the Indo-Edge. The numbers do go into the Indo like that, but it's not reinforced. It's not as high a quality. And you get reinforcement in the sleeves. If you see right here, that's reinforcing elbows. You get reinforced shoulders. Altogether, you get reinforcement with the Reebok Edge 2.0 that you do not get with the Indo-Edge. This was a replica, but it was a high quality replica. That's what the Indo-Edge was. So, let's get into the final company that's been making jerseys since 2017. So, we have finally got into the final company, and that is Adidas. Adidas for the NHL. This company, I would say this. You know it, Hawk fans, including me. This is the first generation Adidas jersey. Via fans, the toilet seat jersey for the Chicago Blackhawks. Why am I saying that? The collar. That looks like a toilet seat on it. This is where we see introduction here. It's made in Indonesia, but what do you see here? It's chain stitched, just like the Indo-Edges. This is a made in Indonesia authentic. That's what Adidas classifies as the on-ice product. It's not. The on-ice product's made in Canada, and it's a higher quality product, and frankly, it's hard to come by for getting one. Most teams you could start finding the made in Canada jerseys, but for the Hawks, it's difficult to come by for getting a made in Canada. I do not have one because how hard they are to come by. So, Adidas. This is the retail level authentic, what it is. That's what they call it. And, well, Adidas introduced us to the dimple shoulders. They made it more relevant that the Hawks used chain stitching because most of the replica jerseys at the time, you could not get chain stitched jerseys before Adidas. And now you can. So, chain stitched Indian head. Again, it's the same quality as that Indo-Edge I showed you. And the introduction of the plastic NHL shield on the jersey. Then they had the Climalite. This one's a Climalite. They also had Aero Ready. They were the same exact jerseys. I had one Aero Ready, and that's from my reverse retro jerseys from 1.0. So this is my Marcus Kruger jersey. And if you see here, non-sublimation. These stripes are all embroidered on, but I do believe on the Made in Canada jersey, the striping is sublimated. If I'm wrong, please correct me down in the comments down below. So this is the first generation of Adidas Hawks jerseys. Second gen. You had the second gen with era already also with this collar change. It looks better, but still not as good as other collars like CCM to Reebok. Those are always better collars. So, on this jersey, if you notice, it's a special number kit. That's why it's kind of shiny with the silver numbers. This was Jonathan Tay's Silver Stick Ceremony jersey. Got that specially customized. You still get the dimples in the shoulders. You still get the chain stitching. You still get all the chain stitching. But this is called a prime green jersey. Right there. Prime green. Adidas introduced the prime green last season, and all prime green jerseys have a little tag. All the Adidas have the same style fight strap as what the Indo-Edges had. I should have mentioned that with the Kruger. But with prime green, these are all made out of recycled materials. That's a good thing. But that's about it. You're only going to get prime green for a couple seasons until Adidas leaves. I'm going to mention that. This is my Jonathan Tay's prime green silver stick jersey. There's not much of a difference. On some teams for prime green, you had more raised three-dimensional logos. For the Hawks, you really didn't get that because we already had the beautiful chain stitching already. So, I want to then now get into what is my favorite era of hockey jersey. Because I showed you from CCM of the 90s all the way up to Adidas. And I will grab you my favorite era of hockey jersey now. Okay. You can tell I'm going to have to say my favorite era of hockey jersey came from the Reebok era. Just because I liked how the collars were on the jerseys. I liked how they inserted the NHL shield up here. And the quality. If you got a replica, it's not as good of quality as you would get if you didn't get a on-ice authentic. But for me, why Reebok is my favorite, that's the era I started watching hockey really in, and that's the era of greatness with the Chicago Blackhawks. You had them winning Stanley Cups, and we were dominating the NHL. And also, my first jerseys, they were all Reebok. And that's how I started collecting, getting Reebok jerseys for the Chicago Blackhawks. And that's from the era I like. That's my favorite era of hockey jersey. I just like the aesthetic of the Reebok Edge template. They fit well. They were always a good quality jersey. And it's what I started collecting with. So, down in the comments down below, I want to hear what your guys' favorite era of jersey is. And thank you for watching the broadcast. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And most of all, let's go Hawks!